Hi! Can you hear me? Je suis prêt. Hello everyone! Did I jump scare you? I didn't mean to jump scare you. So, can you hear me? And, can you hear the game? What's up, Max? This game sounds great. Okay, well, here's another question for you then. Can you hear Phil? You there, Phil?
Hello, guys.
Hey!
Yes, I am.
Can you hear Phil, and is the volume correct for him and for me? We can hear him. Okay, cool. Alright, so how's it going, Phil? Actually, let me get a water for this. I will be right back, but I have my headset, so I can still talk. So Phil, what's going on? We're doing a quick Q&A today because there are some burning questions about the lore after spending like 3 years showing nothing but the Moorlands. Everyone finally got to see more than 5% of the game at long last, right?
Right.
Hey, so we won. Did you guys see that? So last night was the Latin American Indie Game or Game Awards, and we won Indie Game of the Year. Say it so fast we can't see him. Yeah, and so since Bruno is in Brazil, he went in person to accept the award, and then he sent a picture to the team like, I'm having dinner with the award. He took the award out on a date. Yeah, for real though, that was pretty sick. We're so blessed with the reception. I'm trying to like just play this low key today, just oh yeah, let's just do some questions, but no, this has been quite a lunch and it's basically changed our lives forever, only in good ways, and we're trying to kind of get back in the saddle now, but it's been a lot of emotions. Thank you everyone for the support throughout. We're going to get another sales update. Another sales update. I don't know if we'll keep doing. I don't think we'll keep doing sales update. It was mostly like, hey, we hit the mark that we know there's a next game, you know. We know though that there's been. We should probably announce like. Should I not say this? Phil, did you want to do a beat with that? I don't know, but like we know how many people have played the game, which is a lot more than I would have thought.
I think we can talk about it. We'll still do like a beat with it when we reach the next major milestone, but I think sharing it with the
well, okay, so let us tweet first, please. But yeah, we've had, because that's including, you know, we have like the Game Pass and the PlayStation Plus, like we're on both catalogs, which for us was great because what we want is more people playing the game, you know, and especially experiencing the story and all, especially like, you know, you ever release in between Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield, you know? So how many, what's the count at this point, Phil? It's over 2 million players, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're at a bit over 3.5 million at this point.
Wow, yeah, there's no, oh man. See, it's like this is that's kind of mind blowing, but then also you know, you look at Gal and it's like I guess the guy deserves it. So yeah, this is like that's like so cool. It's stupid. So yeah, imagine having to design a game to follow that up, huh? Wouldn't that be a nightmare? Well, we'll see how it goes. Hey, so I'm messing around with the in case you haven't heard about Tactician's Medal, which I was gonna do a pun and call it Director's Cut, okay, so you can thank me for not going for that. So Tactician's Medal makes the game the way I was playing it while balancing, the way I had the most fun with the combat. And then, you know, it's not an exact science, but you want to kind of take it down a notch to kind of for it to be more welcoming to new players and whatnot. But so for those who were looking for a bit more bite, highly recommend Tactician's Medal. What we're gonna do is in an update soon, so you'll get it at the same time as Amulet of Storytelling and the Sequence Flare at the beginning. And yes, we will retroactively add it to your inventory. Okay, you don't need to start a new game. We wouldn't do that to you. Then again, if you're here for lore questions, you're probably starting a new game at some point regardless, but... So anyway, I'm in the beginning of Act 2, well, about to go into the mines. Tactician's Metal in hand. Just to make sure that's actually still feasible. And yeah, we're here for questions. So I don't know, Phil, do you wanna just like start shooting?
Of course. First question from Darmaniac on Discord is, how was the vacation after Sea of Stars release?
Well, it was almost a vacation. I believe that first. No, so the first 2 weeks were like there were a lot of interviews and like just making sure we stay on top of everything. We couldn't like proper stop. But the second half of September was a proper like 2 weeks, like just completely unplugging. It really definitely felt amazing. I know for myself, most of what I did was I wanted to cook and I wanted to sleep and listen to music, so I mostly just like chilled at my place. Had a few road trips, drove up to see my brother, do some bicycle together. It was very, very mellow and chill. What about you, Phil? Did you have a good vacation?
I traveled a bit for the last, yeah, I traveled pretty much for 2 weeks and a half, which really helped with just changing headspace. Yeah, I also did a bit of housekeeping, like since we launched and we got like a lot of Kickstarter support to do and all that. So the first days of September were pretty much, you know, Kickstarter fulfillment, support, tracking the bugs and all that. But yeah, I had a good rest for about 3 weeks, which really helped, like just, you know, recharging and coming back fired up for the next steps, you know.
It's funny because we usually talk to one another like basically every 40 seconds every waking hour, and we just didn't, we went like cold turkey, didn't talk whatsoever for like basically the entire time you were gone, right? I remember just going like, hey man, enjoy your trip, and you put a heart, and then it was like there was kind of an understanding of like let's just go mute for like 2 weeks, you know. It'll just be good to you know, get back together after that. But yeah, we keep each other in that headspace, right? If we keep interacting, so no, it was good, man.
Yeah, I think it was just a good idea. Yeah, totally. And just I'm happy we're back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Second question from Jean-Michel on Facebook, which got a lot of upvotes, was when will the Quebec version be added as an option for language?
Right. Just in case those who haven't followed, the relic thing is there's no items in combat. That's the situation. When will the Quebecois version of the game? I'm hoping I can get it in by the end of year, like for the like Christmas update or whatever we're gonna do, you know, next big update when we'll be adding that relic and everything. But my main thing for now is I'm because we're taking, so October we're back, but we need to figure out what we're doing next. So right now I'm doing the really early broad strokes of like outlining the scripts gameplay mechanics and all for the Throws of the Watchmaker DLC. Like, well, that one was already pretty advanced, but I need to finish this and then work on the next game, which we're not revealing probably forever, because we're having a summit in what is it? Early November. We have our summit. The last time we did that was after we launched Messenger, so it's basically a get-together of the whole team. We fly everyone, and then basically it's a pitch of what we're doing next. So one part is a DLC, so everyone is busy while a subset of the team does the groundwork on the next big thing. And then DLC is done, we're ready to greet everyone for the next production. That's kind of the high-level idea there. And so right now, mostly what I'm doing is preparing for the summit. So I am not writing the Quebecois version at the moment, I'm sorry. But yeah, it will happen. I'm trying to find a proper pace of giving it a couple of hours every day. Actually, I did start, I'm just not like actively, it's not my main thing right now. So fingers crossed for 2023. That still sounds reasonable. But it will happen, most definitely. That is for sure.
Cool. So G the Datbot on Twitter is asking,
The what?
is a patch coming? The Datbot
Okay.
is asking, is a patch coming to consoles to fix the softlock issue in the last dungeon?
Do you mean the rolling eye one? Oh yeah, yes. So there's two softlocks in the final dungeon. One was fixed on PC already, like in September, and then we also fixed the one with the rolling. If the eye kept rolling, it kind of like closes the gate or it never opens or something. So yeah, all these softlocks are being submitted to cert. Probably I don't know if Fro did it already or not, but it's either today or tomorrow morning. So from there, it's just a question of however long it takes for the platforms to kind of like go through the certification process.
Great. Stamway from Discord is asking, now that the community feedback and reviews are here, if you could retroactively change something about the game, what would you do? Would you change, like, would you even change anything at all?
I would definitely use weaving instead of sewing. No, I think. It's mostly the balancing. I think the Tactician's Medal thing should have been there from the get-go as an optional thing, because there were more people who picked it up faster than anticipated, I would say, and I think for many people the first playthrough would have been maybe a bit more fun with that on. Yeah, I'll just go with that.
TQ from Twitter is asking, how much more content are we going to get for Sea of Stars?
Well, you're getting Tactician's Medal, and that's it. One free relic for you now. So we're gonna do. Okay, so there's Indie Land soon. You know Indie Land, right? Gerard the Completionist and his crew. They're doing like a charity event every year. And so we're there again, of course, and we're doing shenanigans again. Well, yes, of course, Gerard the Constructionist. Thank you for the correction. And so it was already confirmed. Gerard already like sort of posted about us being at Indie Land. I don't know if they gave a date yet, so I just want to make sure I don't break any friendly there, but I'll just leave it at that for now. But so we're cooking a little something special for him to like as a challenge for him to like earn our donation. If you haven't tuned into that, that's how we do that. And so that might be a thing. Like if people feel like that sounds fun, that might be something that we look into adding into the game. So there's definitely the Throws of the Watchmaker DLC coming. Which obviously involves the Watchmaker, and also we already hinted at Shade of Tunus Nuku, which is a theoretical third DLC. Not third, but second. Sorry. It's just that we have some content that we can. It's not like a proper DLC, but it's a big enough update. You know, we'll be adding single player plus. You know, things like that. So there might be a second one, but it will depend. Like, you know, does the game still feel relevant? Does the game feel whole without it? We don't want to overstay our welcome. We'll see the demand if whether or not people are excited. But yeah, so I'll leave it at that. I want to tease too much because then people are like, when is the, you know, when is part 2 of Barmathazel's Revenge, you know?
Alright, so Gaiden Gravity on Discord is asking, what's your favorite moment in the game?
Ferryman's Vigil. Which, like, that's the... I didn't see that bit getting any love, and that's okay. I understand a lot happens in the game, but that bit for me was like, in the writing, I think it was the most like playful I felt like during the work. Yeah, very fun bit, and the music, like, so I when talking to Eric, so obviously Bryce designed like the you know, like the oversized, like, and as I was writing the bit and I was telling Eric, like, you know, it's kind of like a tiny bit of a Trick or Treat vibe. For those who've played King Quest 7, the one where you play the queen and her daughter, and the sort of like Act 2 thing, or is it after you dig yourself out? Is it Act 3? Anyway, you know, you're in that like sort of lucent, very lucent style area, and there's like two kids playing together and being kind of mischievous, and I just always really loved that sort of that feeling. And that one and the Quizmaster were two of the tracks that Eric just went like, say no more, I get it, like he didn't let me finish the pitch. And then he just started playing to the idea that was also very clear to him, and the second I heard it, I was like, oh man, it completes it so well. Ooh, Eric is there. Eric, you wanna... I can add you to the call if you're at your station. But yeah, that, and also probably my favorite joke is Captain Cliché walking off screen during the sad bit. With like the sound effect that's way too loud. Still having coffee, nice. But yeah, Ferryman for sure. See, we're also gonna fix that, by the way, like a way to be able to tell who that concerns, like that bar that you're seeing on the right. Just as an aside. So middle name one. Oh, the Yalon payoff, yeah. What a silly game. Yeah, sorry, go on, Phil.
Coffee Bear from Twitter asks, do you plan on making each game a different genre?
Each, I need to sort of pay attention to this, actually. Okay, yeah, let me focus on the questions instead. Okay, so let me preface this, okay, and don't remove that part if you talk about what I'm about to say, okay? That doesn't mean that we are or are not doing any of the following, but okay, the idea is that there is one gameplay per, I don't know if you want to say like intellectual property or something along those lines. If we do, so if we do, for example, you know, Messenger 2, right? And it's actually called Messenger 2, then it's the same like gameplay framework, it's the same pillars, it's the same delivery style, it's the same, you know, it's the same sound font, you know, it's the same pixel art, you know. Messenger 2 would be like 8-bit and 16-bit side-scroller and or Metroidvania. If we were to, again, not saying we are or are not, but if we were to do Sea of Stars 2, then it would be a turn-based RPG that feels like either SNES or PS1 era. And then if we're to present a completely new title, even though they will always all be in the same universe, a brand new title would also be another gameplay or like game genre. I'm not sure how to say it, but please don't cut off the beginning. But yeah.
Nice. Now for some pronunciation questions. How do you pronounce beast?
How do you pronounce beast? Well, Phil, you just did. So he's based like, so that name is when someone French, I mean like proper French, you know, like French from France, when they say the word beast, they say beast. Yeah, like mist. And the beast like thing was always really funny. Yeah, BIST is the best way to pronounce it. You ever get one of these like retro YouTubers like, today we're playing Altered Beast, or did you just get the ultimate then? Well, there you go.
Alright. Disco Cockroach from Discord is asking, what are the official pronunciations for the name Aephorul, Elizandarel, and Barmatezo? Everything related to the Fleshmancer confuses me.
Well, yes, it does get complicated. Well, yeah, so Aephorul, Elizandarel, and what was it? Barmatazel? Ah, Barmatazel.
Yes.
Fun fact is, so because we got Brugavois right at first, and he was gonna be hiding in a bush for the memes during Act 1, and I removed it because I didn't want people to see it coming. Bit of a sad thing not to have. I'm surprised though, I have to say, like, Ensele is just commenting there, I can't believe no one picked up, like when we revealed him, remember Phil, I was like, can we really do that? And then I was like, and I remember you saying, well then if they figure it out, we just don't say anything, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's sure, that's one way to do it. But when we revealed Brugavois, I was like, because what Bryce did in his design there was so deliberate, right? He's got the sandals for the hooves, and like the hairs are shaped exactly like the horns, and he's got like the arm plate. It's the exact same, like the silhouette is so similar. I was like, man, that's too on the nose. People are going to guess, but somehow we got away with it, because I guess just from the assumption of the timelines being or not the timelines, but the time periods being so far apart. But yeah, Brugavois is, I think he's a favorite of all, as he should be. Did I answer the question? Sorry.
Yeah, I think that worked.
Okay.
People in the chat? Any questions?
Bushgavois.
Bushgavois. Alright, so Macro from Discord is asking, that's more of a narrative question. How did the Vespertine get to the other side of the trek to the Sea of Stars, and also through the underground base?
Oh man, so I remember seeing that question in the channel. I was like, put a pin on that one, because it answers the other question, which is, what's a thing you removed from the game that you wish, or whatever, you know, that you either wish you could have kept or something. And so narratively, what was going to happen? But now I need you to level with me, okay? Don't. I'm just gonna say the idea, but then we all accept that it never happened and it's not canon, but it's just. So the initial idea was that your boat would physically stay docked where it was, and you had to go back to it to enter. And we're entering spoiler territory, by the way. If you haven't done the water temple and knocked on the door, you either leave now or get spoiled. Well, I guess we just did talk about, but anyway. I tried. So it was going to be that your boat stays there physically, and then you re-enter. And then Reshan sends you off to get the Vial of Time. But it's really all just a test. because that's not really the vial of time that you went to get. It's just a device that lets you put your boat in a bottle. Because I always liked, when you ever see a boat in a bottle, sorry, everyone's seen this, right? And you're like, how did they like make it or whatever? So the idea was like that the bottle that you go and fetch is still an invention from Reshan, but basically your boat, it's like a Pokeball for your boat essentially, and that's why it like disappears and reappears and is with you whatever you're doing. I still really like that like device as an idea of an ingredient. And then Reshan also got the cool bit of like, what you really thought I would let him like steal my thing, I'll let him steal like a fake one, but it also has a use. And so yeah, Pokeboat, yeah, basically. And so now instead, we pull a tactical zing. The boat just appears and disappears, and it's kind of like all under the umbrella of welcome to the game. It's a game, by the way. Now we all want it, don't we? Yeah. I, for the record, so do I. There's just a bunch of things like that where at some point you need to kind of like not always stop because you have another cool thing you want to expose, and you just think more in favor of like put the controller back in the player's hands. But yep. Yes, we addressed the pinned question. That's good.
Nice. Rornicus from Discord asks, was there any significance to Gal eating one of Yomara's peers?
If there was significance?
Yep.
Okay, well, so oof. I'm gonna let the chat understand that one. So did anyone like, of course you all understand what tree that is, right? Okay. So Madame Misery is not Yomara, to be clear. But it is that tree. And so what type of magic or ethereal thing is the tree like linked to? Rornicus just said it, the pair anchored him in that reality so that he could. It was a great pair. It was perfect. So the pair was voluntarily given, but it is still the fruit of a tree that has to do with death magic and with anchoring you. So it was needed for Reshan's trick to work. I was really surprised. Like I was thinking, like, is the true ending thing not going to pay off because people are gonna go like, well, I saw him eat like a bear from the death tree, so like of course there's something. But anyway.
All right. Kyra from Discord is asking, what exactly does Aetheral mean when he says to Reshan that you can end this with a snap of a finger?
Oh, he can end him. Pair percent? Is that gonna be a... is that line confusing? I thought that line was pretty straightforward. Is basically like because Reshan doesn't want to destroy Aetheral, right? That he can do. He can do like he doesn't even have to snap his finger. He can just like raise an eyebrow and it's done if that's what he wants. But that's not what he wants. He wants to. I don't want to say fix him, but he wants to. He wants to. I'm sorry, I don't have the English word for it. I have the perfect word in French, but he wants to like not heal or like redeem or something. So Reshan can destroy everything, and he could like if you want to go there, kill Aetheral by snapping his fingers. Yes, that remains true. But that's not what he's trying to do.
So Shard is asking on Discord, what happened to the Dokaris after the Sea of Stars? They are absent in the messenger.
Well, you were right in the first half, I'll say this. So they it's unclear what corrupted them, but they still use tridents. Was that also like... I'm not judging anyone, by the way. I'm just saying I assumed that one was sort of obvious, but it's okay if it's not. I'm just curious about what connects and what doesn't, you know? Stephanie is so smart. Well, there you go.
Alright. Star Hawk is asking, how do the laws of time travel work through the use of the chronophage, particularly in the true ending? Was a new timeline formed? Was Gal always Beast in disguise, or something else maybe?
Okay, that's very cursed. Okay, so well, how do the laws of time travel work? Is they don't work. That's the... Just to answer the first part. And what's the... Sorry, Phil, can you give me the question again?
Oh. He asked basically, was a new timeline formed? Was Gal always Beast in disguise, or something else?
No.
Maybe?
Okay, yeah. I've seen this a little. Okay, yeah, thanks. I've seen this a little bit. Like, was it really Gal who did everything with like the sleeper and all? The answer is yes. It was Gal. Gal genuinely did all of that. So what Reshan did when he created the loop is he essentially, you know, when you cut and paste. Is the best way I can explain it, I suppose, from a high level perspective. He isolated that moment so that it can keep replaying forever until something changes it and there's an exit point. It's a time loop, right? Which is, if some of you, I'm sure, have picked up, you know, you know, the fact that you're in a time loop is indicated by the presence of... I don't even have to wait, right? You all know? Because in Messenger, you... Yeah, okay, alright, cool. Okay. So... Yeah, which the Greed Demons is like, you know, with the time shards, it's kind of like, ooh, there's an abundance, and the Greed Demons are kind of like a do you want ants, you know, situation. But anyway, maybe there'll be more about this sometime, probably not. His best friend is there as well, so yeah, so back to the question. So he spliced out at moments so it could keep looping until something changed, and it's the idea of a recursive loop, right? A recursive loop, for those, I'm sure we have a bunch of coders in chat, but a recursive function is basically, when you're coding, it's a function that calls itself. So within that, the code of that function, there is a call to that function, which it sounds like an infinite loop, but not necessarily, because you have conditionals in there where it doesn't necessarily lead to it calling itself again. It can lead to an exit point. And so what Reshan did was he created the whole like time shards thing, and the moment where Aephoril picks one and asks and comments, it was all a diversion, right? So he created that loop so that that could keep looping until they were able to like pull him out. He didn't know how yet. As you heard him brief Beast as he was making him, right? How will I know when it's time? Just follow their lead. So anyway, yes, it's just like a if-else condition. If Gal is replaced, then yeah, basically. And so it's outside of time, because you say what you want about Reshan, the man can manipulate time and timelines and all. So yeah. So to be clear, it's not a different timeline from the initial ending to the real ending, because in the one timeline, you do you do, you know, get rid of Elizandael, and then something else happens, and then you sort of go back, and then it allows it to branch into, it was like a temporary unfinished thing that then, you know, because what Rashan is doing is trying different scenarios and then crystallizing something into a canon, but the attempts, they don't live on.
Anthony from Twitter wonders if we will consider making a standalone Wheels game.
Oh yeah, it's been really fun seeing the response to Wheels, because, you know, obviously game within a game, it's like in a way it's expected, but also you know, are people going to play it for more than 5 minutes? Maybe not, and I don't know. It's always hard because when you make a thing, you're this close, right? And you know how to appreciate it, so you're like manipulating it in a way that you ensure it sings. Kind of, you're very biased about your own thing, but like seeing it in players' hands and see what they're saying, we might rebalance a couple of things. It seems like maybe Mage and Priest is overpowered, but I'm honestly not sure. My personal favorite is Assassin and Priest, mostly to be annoying. But yeah, so if we do Wheels, we're looking at options right now. I don't think we want to start doing, like some of us like do a phone version or whatever. It's like, we're not. We'll find a way to what would be ideal. So I'll say this instead. If we do it, it would be because there was a way that made sense, that for the community to like get together and play it in a PvP fashion where we can like do tournaments and all of that. But it's not a thing where like go buy it and then watch an ad and like buy a skin for a new character, you know, like it's we don't want to, we just want people to play it. So we'll try to figure it out. We have a good lead, but I don't want to say anything. Did I say too much?
I think that was all right. Just enough. So Max from Twitter asks, what was the thought process you went through to determine the parameters of the first ending versus the true ending? How did you decide to have two endings, one of which will be much more satisfying, but will require players to do more side content?
It was always that, right? It's for me like there's nothing I like. One of the things I like the most in this work is like tying, connecting things. Like the fact that the cookie jar is the first key item that you get, and it just sits there throughout, and then you feel like it's worthless, but then by the time you miss the guy, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then, you know, it's like, oh, something inside of your nose, and then it's like the ultimate thing. And I think for me, like that whole, we're in the gold star save file territory now, so just make sure you're not here if you don't want the biggest spoilers. But so, all right, that was your warning. For me, having the resurrection arc was like, well, a very good homage to Chrono Trigger, but also if it has to be earned, you know, looking at you, Jon Snow, and so you don't want it to like come out of nowhere. You want it to feel grounded, to feel justified, but also to feel earned, like not only in terms of the story beats, but also in terms of what was demanded, what it took to do it, you know, the efforts that the players had to do to kind of earn that. And so it was really because, like, on a gut level, it felt right. It didn't feel tacked on. It didn't feel cheap. It didn't feel like shoehorned in. It was like, okay, what's the thing? What's the best way to kind of like reward total completion of everything, you know, in the game? Hammers aside, but so yeah, it's not a thing of like, oh, we're just making the game and then like, oh yeah, it would be cool to have this. Like, no, it was always the plan, because for the canon, Elizandael needs to survive. And also, I mean, just the Apple moment though, like what do you call it, like aces high, when it's like, you know, one is stronger than the king or something? It's just that apple, like, taunt. Apple bunk, yeah, that's probably the proper way to, yeah. That moment is, you know, second only to Ferryman, in my opinion. Apple bunk, that's so cool. But yeah.
Alright, so Maduro Master on Twitter asks, what did the Sky Giant Council mean when they said it was an error on their part as they were addressing Keenan?
It's when you that will be confirmed. I don't want to say soon, but we'll get very clear and deliberate about that sometime in the future.
Okay, so Senan asks, will we ever get some closure on Sarai's story? Like, how did she get to her well? How does her portal technology works? How did she meet her crew, etc.?
At first, it was just a feature of the magic of her daggers. So her backstory was how she got the star shards, and it's the star shards that can do portals. And the fact that sheer will is how, you know, do you have the key, do you have the strength, do you have the will? And so the will was her crossing the sea of stars, just with portals. And maybe, I don't know how many people inferred or picked up on that, but basically she can only like open the second one in very close vicinity, you know, like when you see in Act 5. Sorry, so for those, yeah, because I'm pretty sure y'all want to write this down at some point, but so Act 1 is so it's called Children of the Solstice. It's from the beginning of the game to when you get yeeted at the end, right? Act 2, Quest for the Ship, is from being cut at Extol Landing to leaving on the raft, right? Then Act 3, Dweller of Woe, is basically all Wraith Island, all the way to the Cataclysm. Act 4, the Vespertine, is from going to Brisk in Ruins to receiving the Coral Hammer at the end of Mirth, right? Then Act 5 is from going to Watcher Island in the first place to all the way to turning in the Vial of Time to basically Reshan joining your group. Then Act 6 is from Kukar, well, from, you know, is the whole Mesa Island thing, all the way to Aetheril's Return. So then Act 7 is the whole like Swan Song of the Warrior Cook arc. Act 8 is A World Without Sun. Act 9 is from Sacrosanct Spires to Dweller of Dread. Then Act 10 is just Fleshmancer's Lair, and we refer to Act 11 as all the optional content. So, sorry, so what was I? Because I keep referring to the acts, and I know that you don't know what acts are, but... Or we never, like, said it clearly, because we didn't want people to, like, infer, like... Because at first there was going to be maybe... it would say Act 1, Children of the Solstice, and then your save name is something else, but we didn't want people to kind of, like, how many acts are there, to... Then you expect equal slices, with which they're not necessarily, but... But sorry, I forget what I was saying something about the range. Oh right, okay, yeah. So in Act 5, when you're with the Gorilla Matriarch and you're about to, and she's like, I have a plan, and then she just kind of leaves. It's like she can't just like open her portal straight above the boss and the other one appearing outside, because it's like out of range, kind of, right? And so she had to go outside, make a portal to the sky, and then come back on foot and then use, because she only gets 2, right? You ever play Portal? Yeah, so that's it. That's
just Dennis from.
one
Oh,
sec.
sorry.
Just from Wraith Island to Brisk is a very small distance compared to her world, to our world. So she's just like, imagine her throwing knives, like the flurry thing, the venom flurry skill she has, but like changing one of them every time, basically. Go on, sorry Phil.
Yeah, so just Dennis from Discord asked, what did Cloco even mean by tree is the most dangerous?
I'm pretty sure he would have said that 3 was the deadliest, and he probably said the deadliest by far. I don't know about danger. Maybe he said dangerous, but I don't know. He should have said deadly, but so 3 is an assassin. So I don't know if maybe like in some of the stories, I don't want to necessarily spoil it because it's not a very important beat to the anything that happens in Sea of Stars. It's more like of a backstory explanation. But once you get Duke Aventry's story, 3 assassinated someone, and it basically turned the Bastion of Light into contributed into the place that was the Bastion of Light. It's called Lucent, right? So that has to do with like it being bright, not with it being dark. And so basically, it's referring to that event.
NW Wolf from Discord asks, what is up with the refusal to use the term grappling hook as the official name of traversal tools in both the Messenger and Sea of Stars?
It's just funny. I mean, I think so. The thing too is like, you know, maybe you can ask the Sky Serpents, no, but there's just a thing about if you give it its own name, it can be its own thing. Whereas you just go grappling hook and it's like you immediately assume certain like behaviors, which I guess they fall under what we have, but still, it's like here's a blank canvas and then we're gonna tell you what it is, right? But also it's really silly. Yeah, it started with a joke in Messenger, and then Grapplu is the way Fro said it. So we're playing. Remember that game called Speed Runners? It was like it was made in Flash. I think it was like a vector graphics game, or at least it looked like. Maybe like in 2012 or something. Yeah. So we're playing that one night, and at my place, and Fro's our technical director. So anyway, so back then we were all, you know, with Sylvain and all, we were like just gameplay coders hanging out, and anyway, so we're playing Speedrunners, and he kind of half fell asleep, like on the couch, and he was like half asleep, and he like startled awake while we were playing, and there was like cause you know how their grappling hook, you could like run and do it on the ceiling, and then use that to gain like height momentum. It was really good. And I don't know, he startled awake and just went like Grapplu, like he just said that out loud. It means nothing. He was like kind of trying to say grappling hook, but he was like half asleep, half waking up. It just came out like that. And for like over 10 years, we've been saying just the word Grapplu to refer to that gameplay ingredient. And I'm pretty sure, like I would have to ask Sylvain, but I'm pretty sure even in Messenger that, well, because for sure we called it that throughout production, we just didn't like, you know, rock it for the official thing that's in the game. But I'm pretty sure in the code it says Grapplu all over the place. If you look at like Sklut's code from, I don't know, like 2016 or 17 for Messenger, it probably says Grapplu all over. And then what happened is I told that story I just told you, I told it to Jake. Because Eric and Jake were over for, I don't remember which, they came a few times, but I just told, he was like, what about, why do you guys keep saying Grapplu? And I told him the story. He said, it's really funny, man, I think you should just rock it in the game and people will get it. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't it like really silly? And he was like, nah, it's kind of cool. And it was just on that moment, it was like, alright, let's just do it. Yeah. The Grapplu. It's especially funny when Duke Aventry is like, you're going to have to use your newfound Grapplu to get out of here. Yeah, so we're not gonna have a stupid name every game. We're now just committing to the official meme forever. Not saying there's a Grapplu in the next game necessarily, but also we're kind of 2 and 2, right? Same with space shooters. That's my passive-aggressive commentary that they're only fun for 2 minutes. Alright.
Alright. Soleil asks on Discord, is Sarai's name derived from the French word seri? And is Gal's name derived from Gali?
Gal, no. Gal comes from... I didn't even think of Garlic when I... Gal is derived from Carl, actually, as simple as that sound. Because on the team, we have a... So Carl is our integrator. He hooked up every single cutscene, all the little movements, camera, calling the animations and the characters and all. He worked a whole lot on this, like all the logic trees and all. And he basically, over time, he had like dozens of nicknames, and it all came back to his first name in the end. It's kind of have to be in the know, but his nickname is his proper first name. There's just a way that we say it that makes it like I'm in on it anyway, and so just calling him like Cal was like a a thing, and so it was like Cal, you know, because of the eye moment, because of the, you know, so it's just a super good friendly name as well. I don't know. So yeah, Dubreux is right there. That's Cal for you, and Dubreux was indeed one of his nicknames throughout the year, which Dubreux is also referenced in the Humble Boast. Dubreux. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, but so for Sarai, yes, serait, which in French would mean like will be, will eventually be, you know. It speaks to her looking ahead and her eventually, like her being like her prime time is ahead. Also, Sarai, it can be a bit of a stretch, but emotionally to me it made sense that if you're in French, that's how you would pronounce like sur les rails, genre, meaning like on rails, meaning that she's like on a predetermined path. And then the last one would be a bit of a far-fetched link to the idea of a caravanserai, which is a traveling cart that does long distance, because obviously she went to another world. More thought in Sarai's name than Gal, for sure.
So Qbert on Twitter asks, he says like you could see the inspiration like Mario RPG, Golden Sun, and Chrono Trigger, even from the demo, and asks what are some inspirations, either gameplay or presentation, that might not be as clear cut as the one mentioned above.
I will always say Monkey Island. Monkey Island. Mass Effect. So, like the boat, you know, the fact that you can just like go on your boat as a character, run around, talk to your people, chilling. That's as Mass Effect as it gets, right? Basically, it's the Normandy, but on water. Well, also in space, technically, but yeah, these are two that I can think of. Moonrang bounce, I can try. Oof, well, I'm out of MP and I can't use items, but I'll try a Moonrang next opportunity.
So, Anthony from Twitter asks if there will be merch for Sea of Stars, like vinyl, clothing, maybe even Sabotage Studio merch.
Ah, you gotta see the hold on 1 second. So what's the merch situation, Phil? We have, cause I know Phil, there was work on a bunch of merch, but it was like, yeah, but we're really making the game for now, but so we kind of have like a stash of stuff. I really like the mug. Hold on, it's a good mug, right? And it's like actually like embossed or whatever, however you say it. The thing is, we just have like 90 mugs in the wardrobe, and we've had them for like 2 years. So we have a hoodie, we have sweatpants, we actually made socks. The mug is pretty good. So that's as far as the sabotage merch goes. But our thing is we don't want to like. I'm not sure how to say it. Like we don't want to just sell merch or like just we don't want to try to make this big. It's like if there's a genuine like demand, people are excited. We'll make some. So we did some tests. For Sea of Stars, we'll be doing some for sure. But what do you think, Phil? Do we have any idea of like either when we would look at that more meaningfully or what would make sense?
Yeah, I assume it's gonna be like as soon as things stabilizes, probably early 2024, we'll be able to test the water with like maybe a first limited edition collection, see if there's enough demand for it, and then see where we go from there. Yeah, I think that would be the plan for Sea of Stars. We're for sure looking at partners.
It also like comes in this, right? When you get like a
the sport bag.
It's just a little like yeah. It's very cool. Okay, so yeah, we're on it, but no timeline because you know whenever something gets in the way of our making games, we stop we stop doing it. So whenever we have time, we'll look at that for sure.
Yeah, I mean the platform is already like almost ready. It's just a matter of like figuring out the remaining logistics and having a bit of time to properly. It's also we don't want to do like mixed messaging, like where we have a couple news and then merge and all that. We want to give it a bit of space and properly track everything and make sure like customer service is good. So I think we're gonna like wrap up the whole like Kickstarter fulfillment thing first and then get into these kinds of side projects.
Right. Cool.
Yep. Do you have time for maybe a last one?
How do you feel? Have we been too long? Are we gonna have a done thing VOD?
It's gonna be an hour and a minute.
Okay.
I think
we
could probably do a last one. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's see. Maybe a last narrative one. So, what was the prophecy Moraine hints at the Elder Mist had told him about when Brugavis and Elena had betrayed them at the Dweller of Woe first battle?
Okay, so he was confused, right? Can we agree that he was confused? The line you're referring to is like he's defeated by the betrayal, and he's like, but the Elder Mist said, yeah. So you get a second hint in that same act when some people have been asking, was it a typo? Are you like these Selena and Luan wannabes, right? Because I know that some people, most you know, like the writing style isn't for everyone. It's the way that I approach everything is you do a lot of reading in between the lines, and you get a lot of value out of a single line with hindsight if you replay it and you're slowly constructing your understanding. And also, anyway, I know some like it, some would prefer if things were more on the nose or more repeated or have more exposure. But so real quick on that one, I'll connect these two dots because it's probably too subtle. Some people have been asking if the Selena and Luan quote from Romaya was a typo, but no, it was actually insight in what Elena and Brugaves tried before giving up, taking the deal and everything. They did that imprint on anyone, or did I just like drop some lore? Yes, exactly. Sorry. Yeah. So, and then yeah. So the the prophecy that Moraine got was that he would train the Guardian Gods, and so that's why he was pushing them so much, which kicked into even more disappointment, and he was blindsided by it being Zaylan. He never like. In his mind, he's like, yeah, it's okay, we get 2 more, and that's why he's more caring with the 2 that you play, where he's really stern with Erlina is like, hey, it's not your place to question anything. You do your duty. You get back to me, and after you do that, and these are just they're just around. We just do our duty with them, and so. In some way, it's rebellion against, like, you know, being forced into acting like the genius you were told you were. So anyway.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
That's it.
I think that's it. So since we were seeing a lot of questions and we couldn't really get to everything, and today's stream will certainly like kick conversations to another like level or whatever, we can probably do this again sometime. I mean, it's fun. It's fairly fast, and so y'all let us know how you feel, and if you so many Q's, not enough A's. It's fun. Thanks for
yeah, we still have about like 150 questions from all channels, so we can definitely do a couple more streams with just these. So yeah, I think we'll just see where we can fit that, when we can fit that, but it will make sense to do a bit of a more narrative focused stream.
Sounds good. Cool. Well then, I'll keep playtesting my Tactician's Medal. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Phil, for handling all these questions. And again, everyone, thanks so much for the support, for keeping the Discord alive. It's great to see that people are gathering around what we made and having a good time. It is why we do what we do. So we'll see you around. Our next beat is probably Indie Land, whenever that is. We'll let them announce. And yeah, we'll be around. Cool. So you all have a good one. Bap bap.
Thank you. Bye bye.